Hey guys, this is Daquan here. And this is my, what is it now, 5th creepypasta ever made. And it's about a man named John who goes hiking one day, and an old man walks up to him and asks, has he ever heard of Crow's Lake? Now of course the man is creepy and all. And of course John, he goes to check the lake out. Typical horror story. Anyways, John gets pushed into the lake by the old man and gets dragged into another world with black, distorted figures that chase him around and try to kill him and keep him there forever. Well, with further ado, I give you Crow's Lake. The events in this story are entirely true, and I kid you not, I'm not on drugs or anything, and I'm not lying, and this is no joke either. I remember this day like it was just yesterday. The events that took place were just too terrifying to forget. My name is John Wayner, and I love nature and going hiking. The sounds of birds chirping and leaves rustling with the wilderness active in the background relaxes me. I was hiking on the trail not too far from my apartment one day, October 21st, 1987 to be exact, when I came across an elderly man who was limping with a cane, walking slowly towards my direction. I began to feel dread in my body as I got closer. When I finally got near him, he said, "Have you ever heard of Crow's Lake, young man?" No. The man smelled of mildew and dust. "I see you like nature. Mind if I give you a suggestion?" Sure. Now at this point in time, I knew I should have walked away, but me being the curious young 20-year-old, I decided to listen. "Crow's Lake is a very airy place, but I think you'd enjoy it. All you have to do is head north from this trail and turn right where you see the largest oak tree. Once you park your car, walk path nearest to your left. The trail will be around 3 miles, and once you get to Crow's Lake, you will be amazed at what you see and how beautiful the surrounding area looks." Okay, thanks. I'll take it into consideration. You're welcome. Oh, and John, those who have ventured off the Crow's Lake say that it is impossible to leave. The man then began walking away. As he did, I wondered, how did he know my name? I never met him before. Since I didn't have anything else to do that day, and I didn't have to go back to work until Monday of next week, I drove in the direction he told me to go. The drive felt longer than it should have been. It felt like an hour had passed, but when I looked at my clock, only 10 minutes had passed. As I finally pulled up to the trail, I saw exactly what he told me. The trail only took me 25 minutes to walk. I came to a clearing that had a large lake. Walking up to the lake, I saw it was pitch black. I couldn't see any sign of life at all. Crows began to call behind me. It sounded like dozens of them. When I turned around, I froze. It felt as if my heart left my body. There was a man completely covered in crows standing behind me. He then began to walk closer and closer. I tried to run away, but it felt as if my whole body was paralyzed. The man then tipped me into the water. As I drifted deeper and deeper to the dark terrain, one thought drifted through my head. Exactly how deep is this lake? It feels like I sunk 50 feet already, and I was just right by the shore. I then began to feel bubbles coming down. But how? I'm drifting down. I decided to swim in the direction of the bubbles, then finally reached the surface. I began coughing, trying to catch my breath. Everything was in dead silence, and the sky was red. Exactly how long was I down? It couldn't have been that long. When I got here, the sun was still shining bright in the sky, but now the sky was red as if the sun was setting. Come to think of it, where is the sun? I began to walk around the lake, heading back towards my car. As I finally got back to my car, there was the same old man who told me about this place, standing in the distance. He began to laugh. That damn laugh began to pierce my eardrums. It was like he was in my head. "Screw you, old man," I yelled. I drove away from that place, speeding down the highway and back to my apartment. When I finally got back home into my room, the whole entire building was quiet. As I thought about it, I realized there was no cars on the road or in the parking lot, and Mr. Williams wasn't at the front desk. He's usually there when I got back from a trip. I just dismissed this thought as me worrying too much, and just crashed on my bed, falling to sleep. I woke to silence again. Realizing everything wasn't right, I decided to walk up to my neighbor's room to see what was up. The time was now 3 a.m. and around this time, on a Saturday, the guy above me usually has loud music playing, but there was nothing playing but eerie silence. When I knocked on my neighbor's door, nobody answered. I tried turning the handle, and surprisingly, it budged open. "Hello?" Still, no answer. There was no one in the room. Everything was completely silent. I backed out of the room slowly and began running outside to my car. The sky was still red. "Hello? Is anyone there? Hello?" I began to see a black figure in the distance. It was walking slowly towards me. Oh, thank God. "Hey, do you know what's going on? I can't seem to find anyone." No reply. Its mouth was filled with 3 rows of sharp, jagged teeth, and it sounded like it was gargling for air. I ran away and drove off in my car as fast as possible. Having no idea where to go, I decided to drive to the city. It only took about 10 minutes to get there. When I got to the city, everything felt dark, as if a malevolent presence awaited me. I decided to go inside the town hall to use their phone, because mine didn't work because of the water damage. And to my luck, the phones didn't work either. And when I looked outside, there was one of those things walking. I crouched down quickly and stared at it as it looked back at me. Man, what is there to do now? It's just standing there outside of the door, staring in the window with its non-existing eyes. I began to back away when I kicked the front desk by mistake, causing the phone to drop on the floor, making a loud ringing and buzzing noise. The creature then began banging on the glass window, causing it to crack. I decided to run away into the building. The hallways were dark and narrow. There was a loud crash coming from the front. It finally got through. I ran into one of the rooms to hide quietly. I closed the door behind me. "I'm surprised you actually came, John." Snapping my neck behind me, there was the same old man I'd seen earlier that day. Where did you lead me to, you old bastard?
My home. Crow's Lake. The land of sorrow. Stay here, John. With my children and I.
Screw you, you sick bastard. Tell me how to leave this place now.
So you want to leave, huh? All you have to do is swim down into the lake and you'll reach your world. But I'll tell you this once. If you're bitten just once by one of my children, you'll turn into one of them and live here for eternity.
The man then formed into a crow and flew away, crashing through the window. I began to hear banging on the door, along with muffled breathing. It finally found me. My heart began to race as the thing's arms crashed through the door. I decided to jump out of the window and drive back to that lake. When I jumped out of the window, shards of glass got stuck in my skin, causing drops of blood to drip everywhere I walked. As I ran to my car, there was one of those things right by it, sniffing it. I quickly ran back behind the building. How the hell was I going to get over there without it trying to attack me? Come on, think, John, think. I got it. All I have to do is catch its attention, run around the building, and take it away from my car, causing it to follow me. Then drive away. I began yelling to catch the creature's attention. As we both ran away from my car, I turned the corner one more time. My heart dropped down to my stomach. There were hundreds of those things just standing there. When one of them saw me, it began chasing me, running, followed by the rest. When I finally got back to my car, turning the ignition on, I sped off to the lake. It was about a few miles in when I saw that my gas tank was on E. Oh, great. My tank is on E. Come on, just 5 more miles. The damn thing just gives out on me. I guess I'll just have to jog back all the way to the lake. When I was finally near the trail, I began to hear footsteps coming towards me in a fast pace. And there, in the distance, there were those things running at full speed towards me. I began running through the woods on the trail and fell and tripped over a rock, causing me to break my leg. The adrenaline running through my veins caused me not to feel any pain though. I finally reached the lake within 7 minutes, but there they were, nearly 10 feet away from me. I jumped into the lake and swam deeper and deeper. Before I could get any further, one of them grabbed my leg, pulling me back into their world. I kicked and fought against the being until it finally let me go. When I finally made it back into my world, I gasped for air while laying on the shore in complete exhaustion and fell into a deep sleep. I awoke a few hours later, getting up in my drenched clothes, dripping as I walked back to my car. Before I left that place, there was the same old man across the lake, staring at me, laughing. His laugh was piercing my skull, and I heard his voice in my mind.
You'll come back soon, John. And when you're ready, you know where your family resides.
I decided not to say anything to tempt the man anymore. As I drove home, I began to see actual civilians walking around, which brought me peace. Well, that's my story. I'm so happy I finally got off my chest. Thank you all for listening. I wish I would have told my family and friends my experience, but I was afraid they all laugh at me calling me a madman. They're all dead now, and I have no one else to tell but you all. I began to hear that same gurgling noise everywhere. It's like it's a sign I'll be dragged back into that forsaken place. Crow's Lake.